Hi everyone, it's Natalie with Crochet by NatalieLucille, and I'm going to show you how you can make a crocheted cable just like this. Now I crocheted this cable in the round, so I've made some hats, and you can see just how beautiful it is, how it catches the shadow. It's one of my favorite stitches to use, and it is super thick. Makes a great hat, makes a great wrist warmer, which I'll show you what I'm working on, but it's super easy to make. Look how thick that is. But I'm not showing you the other part of it in between the cables, just the cables in this one today. So stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll continue working on my wrist warmer that I'm working on here. And that way I can show you how to work the cable in one color, because when I show you the sample, I have several different colors just so you can see the layers. But this is a wrist warmer I'm working on. I'm not quite loving the thumb part of it right now, but I'm going to adjust that here soon. But this is just the point of showing you the cable stitch. And this is what I'm currently working on. It kind of matches the hat. So it's one of my favorites now. So let's go ahead and get started. Now I started a foundation row. So the cable stitch uses 6 stitches. Now, another thing that I like to do, it's kind of like a memory thing, a play on words, if you will. And when I start a stitch, I have to do something to remember. So these first 6 stitches, I'm going to label them A, B, C, D, E, and F. And you'll see why in just a second. So there's A, B, C, D, E, and F. Now you're going to be working around the front posts of your stitches. And the first round is a front post treble stitch. You're going to skip A, B, and C, and you're going to work around the post of D. So there's your D. So you go around the post, and you're going to work a treble stitch. So it's yarn over twice, then yarn over, and you'll pull through where you have 4 loops on your hook. Then it's yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over through 2, and you've just completed one of the front post treble crochets. Now you're going to work in E. So again, front post treble. And don't worry about A, B, and C because we're coming back to those, you'll see. So work your treble, or front post treble, I should say. And then you're going to work in F, or you can say it's number 6, but it keeps me honest. So work that treble. And this stitch is actually pretty easy. It's just you have to kind of work with your yarn a little bit. Don't fight it. Now, you see here's A, B, and C. So we're going to actually work into those. So you're going to yarn over twice, and you're going to cross over the front, and you're going to work in A, which is a front post treble crochet into A. So you're kind of having to twist around, and I'm trying to keep this straight, but every time I work this stitch, it kind of flips to the side for me, which is easier. So just however it makes it easier for you. So it just kind of, see how it flips to the side a little bit, which does not mess up the stitch. So you've just finished with A. Now you're going to kind of, if you spread it a little bit, you can see B and C. So now we're going to work a front post treble into B. There it is. Just got to find it and then work that treble. When you are working with solid colors, not where you're switching colors, but I'll show you on the wrist warmer, sometimes once you get the hang of it, you can see the post easily, but sometimes you have to kind of finagle it. And see, there's C right there kind of hiding. So just kind of pull it apart and you can really see it. And just work that front post treble crochet into that. And that completes the first part of a 4-part of this cable stitch. So that's part 1. And again, this is just kind of like a swatch. Don't look at my ends. I'm not doing anything spectacular. Just I'm cutting the yarn, so I'm just trying to get it out of the way. Nothing special. So now we're ready for part 2. So when you're reading a pattern, it'll say front post double crochet into the next 6. So a lot of times it can kind of get misleading. You think, well, is it the ones that are crossed over or is it the ones in the back? Because if you're looking at the back, you kind of have to open it a little bit. There's A, B, and C, if you will. So it's number 1, 2, 3. So that's what you're going to be working in. And so you're working front post double crochet. So just kind of open it up a little bit. It can kind of get frustrating part 2 when you're trying to get those stitches in the back. So you just kind of open it up, and now we're front post double crocheting into A. We'll front post double crochet into B, just kind of spread it. There's B right there. You got to kind of stretch it, and there's C just hiding back there. So front post double crochet around that. And then you'll front post double crochet around the ones that you had crossed over, so that what's considered D, E, and F. So again, when you see a pattern and it says front post double crochet or double crochet into the next 6, that's what it's talking about. It's not talking about where you crossed over first. So you just have to keep everything kind of lined up. The only time you're crossing over is when you're doing part 1. So we're completing part 2, if you will. And part 3 and part 4 are the easiest ones. You just have to front post double crochet across. And I'll show you how you do that. Once I work my funky little ends in the end. Like I said, don't look. Now we're ready for part 3. Again, we're front post double crocheting. I'm just adding a stitch here just for place marker. Kind of hard to see through the blue, but it is there. So you see you have A, B, C, D, E, and F. And all you're going to do is front post double crochet into A and then follow along the line. So there's A. And I hope the different colors help you see what it looks like when it layers. When the swatch does finish, it kind of curls up a bit, but it doesn't do that in your work. It's just not a lot to work with. It's just to show you the stitch. So that should be, I think that was C, and that should be D. So that, like I said, there's just a total of 6 stitches, and we're in part 3. The only time that you're going to front post treble crochet is in the part 1, and when you're crossing over. The rest are front post double crochets in part 2, 3, and 4. And that finishes part 3. Oop, nope, is there one more? No, we're good. So that is part 3, and now we are ready for part 4. Once I finish my wonky ends. Oh, and here we are. Ready for part 4. And it's kind of hard to see in this because you're just starting, but once the pattern repeats itself, then you'll see how it starts twisting. So this is part 4, and again, you're going to work front post double crochets. Here's A, and there's B. And just to let you know, after part 4, you're going to start with part 1 again, and you just keep repeating part 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 again and again and again. You can see how easy it is, and working with front posts in your crochet creates this thick texture, and also the fact that it's worked in the front post creates a raised effect. So it catches shadows and light. It's so pretty. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. So that is the cable stitch. Now stay tuned because I'm going to show you how to work on a real project. This is just the swatch. So I'm going to grab my hand warmers and kind of give you a real example. Like I said, don't look at the edges, but that is where you're going to start part 1 again from here on out. So let me show you how to do the hand warmers. So this is what I'm working on. So there's where it ended with part 4. So now we're ready for part 1. So you can kind of see how it ended. It's the same thing at the top here. So you're going to begin, and remember this is the front post treble. So we're going to work into D. There's A, B, C, and here's D. So you're going to work your front post treble into D. Now work the front post treble into E. Oops. Let's try that again. And F. So there's your 3 at the end. So you've worked front post treble crochets into D, E, and F. Remember, we skipped A, B, and C. So now we got to go back into A, B, C. Do you see how it's harder to see? Watch this. You'll see how it is. And you just have to stretch and move. And trust me, it does work out. So let's cross over in the front. Let's get to A, and let's work a front post treble crochet. I'm going to try and hold this down so it doesn't flip to the side so you can really see it. And I apologize for the greasy desk. I use coconut oil on my hands, especially now that it's getting colder. So there's some little greasy spots, so just ignore it. Okay, let's moving on. We're moving on, that is. So now let's find B. There's B right there. So work your front post treble crochet. And now you're going to try and find C. It's really hiding. C is always hiding. I don't know. You'll see that in part 2. It just wants to hide. So where's C? You see how it all looks the same, but it is there. You just have to stretch, and oh, there she is. So work your front post treble crochet. This completes part 1. And when you finish with it, it looks like it's this twisted, weird look to it, but it all works out because you've already done part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're ready for part 2. And remember, this is all front post double crochets for 2, 3, and 4. So now we're going to work into not the crossed over section because that's D, E, and F. We're going to search for A, B, and C. And it's back there. It's kind of like in the behind, so you have to like open it up. And this is probably my most frustrating row, but the effect is worth it. So there's A, front post double crochet. Let's find B. I'm sure it's back there. Oh, look, there it is. Front post double crochet. And C. Oh, where are you, C? Oh, look. There he is. Come on out. And front post double crochet. And now we're going to work front post double crochets into D, E, and F. So here's D, which is like that first crossover look. Remember, because that was when it went into A, but we're working on part 2. So this is front post double crochet into, let's do that again. That was messy. This is an E. Excellent. And now F. Part 2 is done. And so part 3 and part 4 are a lot easier because you don't have to go searching for any of your stitches. They're all right in front of you. So now we're ready for, well, I don't know what just happened there, but I guess I messed up on my video. But anyway, here is part 3. So we go into front post double crochet into A. Nobody's hiding on this one. Here is B. And again, you can stretch your stitches just a little bit if you need, because it's pretty tight. And if you need to kind of hunt them down, just kind of stretch it a little bit. There's C. And now we're just going to front post double crochet into D. And if you've seen any of my other past videos, I like to do play on letters and numbers. It's a memory thing for me, because if you're counting and it gets mixed up, you know, if you're using your letters, you're not having to worry about your counting. So it's just something that has always helped me. Part 3 is done. Now we are ready for part 4. And it's almost like the cable just kind of twists and turns on its own. It's lovely, isn't it? Front post double crochet into A and B, C, D, E, and F. That completes 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so from this point on, you would start with 1 again. So that's where your treble crochet crossover. And I hope you enjoyed this. I would love to hear about projects that you're working on. And if you have any comments, questions below, write in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And again, this is a great stitch to learn. There are so many different variations. This is just one. And just kind of work work with your own projects. Like I said, I had to go out a little bit. And check out my Etsy store. These 2 hats are for sale, and I got a sale going on right now. So again, there's your swatch. I hope the color coding did help. And just in case you need a little bit of reminder, you guys are special, and I keep this on my desk. I hope it gives you some inspiration. You are loved. Have a great day, and I hope you did learn something new today. Until next time.